Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lou. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lou will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lou. Here's Coach Lou.
What's up with the lizard broadcasting with the microphone? Well, Facebook popped up a memory from 4 years ago. June 1st, 4 years ago. Dex was about 5 or 6. He was about 6 years old then. Little Dexy, unfortunately, passed on and is in little lizard heaven currently. But Dex lived over 10, maybe 11 years, which is about 3 to 4 to 5 years, longer than most water dragons live. And he had a good life. But my whole point to, bringing Dex's little memory pop up there onto the show this morning is one thing to honor the little guy. For a little green creature, he wasn't so little either. He was yay big when he was full grown. But Dex brought something to my attention. And he was a show stealer. He wanted the attention. That little guy he'd be banging on the glass when I'd come home. John would say he's just absolutely, he'd know the minute you're coming to the door. He'd be smacking the glass on the cage. He was funny as heck. He'd sit on my lap and watch TV, but when he was done, he'd hop down and crawl back up the cage top and jump back in his cage. Just a really cool lizard. The thing that dawned on me from, being able to have such a cool pet, and we had a few of them, but Dex really was, Dexter, of course, really was the epitome of proof that everything responds to love and kindness. I'll never forget the day I got Dex. I had no intention. I had a couple little wild lizards in a cage, and went to get him mealworms. And this little guy's on the side of the cage going like this. And I'm like, oh, he looks like he's waving. And they're like, he is. He's very, very personable. You want to hold him? And, of course, I didn't realize I was getting the ultimate sales job done on me there. And I'm like, sure. And, usually, a lizard, you're going to have to, hold him. And they put him in my hand, and I'm like, do I, how hold? They said, you don't have to hold him tight. He's not going anywhere. And this little guy's looking at me, and, and just content as could be. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm taking him home. So took him home, named him Dexter, gave him a nice little place to live. And Dex grew, and, I've got, and I'll share them as time goes on. I've got some really cool shots of Dex. One of them is he was very alert to colors and the computer screen and that. He'd sit there while I was doing the shows and just watch the screen. One time he gets on the keyboard and he's on the keyboard looking, and I shot a picture of it where he's on the keyboard of the laptop looking at the screen like he's doing the work. It was really cool, but the thing was even something that tiny and maybe insignificant to most, really, when you gave him a little significance and some love and attention, was just literally a little part of the family. He was like a dog lizard. He behaved like a dog. He would literally do things like a dog would do, come over, walk over to you and stuff. But I just wanted to honor that today. But it really kind of shifted gears as to what I wanted to talk about. Because what I really want to talk about, besides Dex and this little guy severely, besides that, what I want to talk about is that response to love, respect, caring, kindness, everything. Every living creature, every human being will respond to that. I've found, how many times have you walked down the street and somebody's walking down the street looking like they're mad or down and out, and you say good morning and they light up, and like, gee, thanks, or you say something, you notice something about somebody, and they're like, oh my God, you noticed, you got your hair cut. Wow, you're the only person that noticed, or something. And that little ounce of kindness doesn't cost you a darn thing in this world. Now, you know me. I am not talking about the kumbaya, right wing, everybody just kumbaya and sit and have coffee and get a government check or something like some countries, claim socialism's a good thing. It's not. But, I'm being sarcastic there, but my point is that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the everything's okay and there's never any challenges and there's no reason to step up. No, what I'm talking about is that extra little level of common decency and kindness goes so darn far in this world. If you take that extra second to give somebody a compliment, hold the door for somebody, help somebody when they're in need, and you turn around and go, well, how cool is that you can make a big difference by just saying something kind or by saying good morning instead of being standoffish in this world. So again, going back to the picture of Dex, if you guys are just tuning in, I started out with a picture of Dex. He was like on my microphone screen looking like he was broadcasting the show, and Dex has passed on. But he just was a prime example of even a little green little lizard can respond to kindness and love. And my point to today's show is just to say that take the extra initiative to be a little more kind, a little more considerate, a little more decency in this world, and you'll be surprised how people and even creatures respond. It's just the type of thing where, the raccoons, love raccoons. And a lot of people are afraid of them. They call them trash pandas, and they're bad, and they are rabid, and this, and they are some of the sweetest little critters. We had a little guy, Bandit, rolled in on a semi-truck. Him and his brother Luigi. Of course, I named him. Their mom, they chased him off at the trucking center thinking that she had just gotten on the truck, not realizing she had babies in there. And we took on these babies and got them just enough to be able to get them to be able to get through and get out there on their own. But the thing is they're not mean, they're not evil, they're not, give them a little bit of food and a little bit of attention, and they were very sweet little creatures. And again, I'm not being all kumbaya, guys. You know me. I'm very motivating and very motivated, and get out, make your own way. There is no laying back and free rides or anything. But kindness is free. To be decent and kind and to do something nice. I always say to our staff is, it's not only about doing business. When a customer comes in, it's not just about a transaction. It's about an experience. Are they going to walk out and go, wow, these people were really cool and really kind? And kudos to our team, because I hear that a lot. Get that feedback of so-and-so was really went over and above the call of duty for me. And I'll be like, hey, yeah, wow, great job. And they're like, all as I did was. And let's dissect that. All as I did was help them, complimented their child, gave them an idea of how to use the product. All as I did was take whatever that was, the extra second to see that person as a person, not just a number, and to extend a piece of kindness and a little extra. It doesn't hurt your business. It certainly doesn't hurt your relationships, and it certainly doesn't hurt somebody else to take a little extra step of goodness, decency, and kindness. And, a lot of people are like, hey, well, yeah, again, if you're too kind in this world, they'll walk all over you. Yeah, you got to hold your ground, but you can be kind and hold your ground. Have you ever had to look at a customer or somebody and go, now really, do you really think that is honestly in my best interest to do that? And they go, well, no. But here's what I'll do for you. And they're like, oh, Thanks. And you've won instead of, I'm not doing that. No, no, no. Well, I can't exactly do this, but guess what? I'll do this for you. And usually the I'll do this for you is something so simple that it doesn't cost you any time, effort, or anything else, because it just comes down to that little bit of kindness. And that's what it comes down to in this world. And my whole point of today's show is everybody and everything will respond to love and kindness. Okay, you might say, no, 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 there was this person that took advantage of me, or this, of course there is. This is real life, guys. We live in the real world. However, you certainly get a whole lot further with kindness, decency, and doing the right thing, especially when nobody's looking. If you're doing the right thing, not just to be in the limelight, yeah, that's kind of funny. Kind of funny thing. I'm not going to call out any specifics on this, but recently I saw somebody talking about what they did for somebody in the community, and it was really awesome. And it was something that in the long run we had donated, that got put forth, but there was no mention of where it came from or any of that. And for a second, I almost caught myself being a little put off. I'm like, yeah, wow, look at all that limelight for you there. That's really great. You know, it would have been nice if you mentioned where that item came from in the first place. And I thought about it, and I'm like, that's not why we did it in the first place. We didn't do it so that it would be newsworthy. And look, we're the ones that gave it to you to give away and make this big production. No, it didn't need to be said, because I was like, but for a second I did. I was actually a little pissed. I was like, oh wow, yeah, hey, look at you, hey, yeah, look what we do for the community. And it's like, oh, where did that come from, y'all? But then I was like, no, but that's not why we did it. And in that instant, that was a shift within myself. And that's a shift that we all need to make. When you do something kind, you don't go, here you go, and then have your hand out and go, what's in it for me? That's a hard one sometimes. It's a hard one, especially if somebody gets media coverage or something and makes it, look like you had nothing to do with it. You got forgotten. You feel like, hey, you forgot me. It wouldn't have happened without me, or I was a part of it. So what? You did something kind to do something kind. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, I'll admit it. But if you're going to do the kindness thing and you're really going to step in and go, you know what? I'm going to do something because it's going to help somebody or something. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty darn cool. Then you don't need the recognition. Because you know what? And whatever your spiritual beliefs are, your recognition comes from above, comes from your Creator. Okay, we're not gonna go down that road today, but I think we all have somebody you term as God or your Creator, or So in the long run, that's what I'm talking about when I say what you do in private. Make it be the same as you would want to be viewed. Don't be one person and go, oh, da, 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 do this, do that. Oh, you're great, boom, boom, and then be a dirtbag behind the scenes. Ooh, yeah, there are people like that. A lot of Hollywood right now. I'm going to talk about current events. Yeah, we're, all the hero to the kids, and they're the same ones hurting kids. Hang them out to dry. That's what I say. Okay? If you're out there going, give kids the world and everything else, and then you're hurting kids, on some island somewhere, you're a dirtbag. Okay? If you do it, if you live it, if you're a helping, kind person, be the helping, kind person, whether somebody's looking or not. If you want to do something, you want to donate, you want to give, you want to help, do it whether you're getting the recognition or not. Because what matters is what's in your heart. All right, guys. I think this has been a little touching show. Dex is still up on my other screen. I'm like, it just set the tone this morning of, that back to that kindness. And back, if you go back on the blog and the replays, there's one of the shows is All You Need Is Love. And it's really, I delve deep into this kind of concept. And again, I'm not being all kumbaya. Don't think, oh my God, he's getting soft or anything else. Just have some decency. So I have an assignment for you today. What can you do? Who can you reach out to? What can you do kind just for the heck of doing it? Not to be recognized, not to be the hero in the limelight necessarily. What could you do today that would just be a kind act? That doesn't really cost you anything. Maybe it does. Maybe you write a check to $1 million for a charity. Maybe you're in that position you can do that, and that is your thing you can do to help today. Maybe you drop off a walker to an old folks home for somebody who doesn't have it. Maybe you drop off a meal or a gift card on somebody's door has been struggling. Somebody just got a new job and they don't get paid for 2 weeks, and they're that they're probably stressing of how they're even going to put gas in the car to get to work. Go over to Wawa or wherever your local gas station is. Ours is Wawa. That's really a beautiful name, just saying. There's my sarcasm. I'm awake now. No, seriously. And go stick a gift card on their door. You don't have to say, this is from Coach Lou, or this is from whoever you are. You can just go do it. How good would that make you feel? Because let me give you a little scientific background on that one. Then I'm going to cut you loose this morning. When you give something, it makes you feel like you have more than enough. And you might be going to me, gosh, I can barely put gas in my car myself to get to work right now. Or maybe you're going, well, jet fuel's up and my jet's a little more expensive. I don't know where you're at. There's all kinds, everybody in our audience here. But you might be going, well, I'm struggling a little bit. But what if you suddenly gave away a $20 gas card to somebody who needs it more than you? And all of a sudden you feel a little bit more abundant in life, don't you? That's the science behind that. When you give something, even when you feel you don't have much to give, but you give something, you feel abundant. When you feel abundant, you're excited to go do more. Oh, the more abundant you feel, the more you want to do, give, and become. What a nice concept that is, huh? All right, guys, live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. And miss you, Dex, my little buddy. I learned more from that little green lizard than I learned probably in my entire years of high school. No, seriously. Just throw out a little kindness today, guys. It doesn't mean you got to be all kumbaya and lose your edge in business or anything else. Just try it. Do something kind. Do something random. Help somebody out today and see how darn good that feels. All right, now I'm really leaving you. Ciao for now. Live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. See you on the next roundabout. And make sure you catch all my live shows. And where's my studio? There we are. There we went. There we are. There we go. All right. Make sure you catch all my live shows at lew.live. That's lew.live. Just that simple. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. Wait and see. Yeah, check it all out. Have an amazing day, guys.
Ready to take it to the next level? Next level? Tune in to xlr8life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lou himself. As Coach Lou always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dreams.